Apollo astronaut Colonel Alfred M. Worden is an American astronaut and engineer. He was the command module pilot for the Apollo 15 lunar mission in 1971. He was one of only 24 people to have flown to the moon, which he orbited 74 times in the command module endeavor. He was just recently selected for the Lifetime Achievement Award in Aerospace for 2019 by the International Association of Top Professionals, IAOTP, for his outstanding leadership, dedication, and contributions to aerospace. With having over 6 decades of professional experience in aerospace, Colonel Worden has certainly proven himself as an extraordinary professional, pioneer, and expert in the field. Colonel Worden is a dynamic, results-driven leader who has demonstrated success not only as an American astronaut and engineer, but as a space celebrity whose accomplishments are literally out of this world. Colonel Worden has been very exciting to watch and has become a household name. His impressive repertoire of prior roles have included pilot and armament officer with the 95th Fighter Inspector Squadron at Andrews Air Force Base, student at the Empire Test Pilot School in England, instructor at the Aerospace Research Pilot School, and he served as a member of the astronaut support crew for the Apollo 9 flight and as backup command module pilot for the Apollo 12 flight. Colonel Worden served as command module pilot for Apollo 15, which flew from July 26 to August 7, 1971, and he was accompanied by David Scott, spacecraft commander, and James B. Irwin, lunar module pilot. Apollo 15 was the 4th crewed lunar landing mission and the first to visit and explore the moon's Hadley Relay and Mount Hadley, which are located on the southeast edge of Mare Imbrium, a huge meteor impact crater. Apollo 15's achievements include the largest payloads placed in Earth and lunar orbits at that time, the first scientific instrument module bay flown and operated on an Apollo spacecraft, the longest lunar surface stay at that time. The Apollo lunar module Falcon remained on ground for 66 hours and 54 minutes. The longest lunar surface EVA at that time. Scott and Irwin logged 18 hours and 35 minutes each during 3 excursions onto the lunar surface. The longest distance traversed on lunar surface at that time. The first use of the lunar roving vehicle. The first use of a lunar surface navigation device mounted on Rover 1. The first subsatellite launched in lunar orbit, and the first extravehicular activity, EVA or spacewalk, from a command module during Trans-Earth Coast. Additionally, Worden has been credited and listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most isolated human being during his time alone in the command module endeavor and for performing the first deep space EVA. When the orbiting command module was at its greatest distance from Scott and Irwin in the Falcon, Colonel Worden was 2,235 miles away from any other human beings. Worden logged 38 minutes in extravehicular activity outside the command module endeavor, while some 196,000 miles from Earth, and in completing his space flight, he logged 295 hours and 11 minutes in space. In completing his 3 excursions to Endeavour's Scientific Instrument Module Bay, Worden retrieved film cassettes from the panoramic and mapping cameras and reported his personal observations of the general condition of equipment housed there. Apollo 15 concluded with a Pacific splashdown and subsequent recovery by USS Okinawa. During 1972 to 1973, Worden served as senior aerospace scientist at the NASA Ames Research Center in California, and from 1973 to 1975, he was chief of the Systems Study Division and the Airborne Science Division. After retirement from active duty in 1975, Colonel Worden became president of Morris Worden Aerospace, Inc., and in 1991 was named as president of Jet Electronics and Technology, a B.F. Goodrich Aerospace company, until 1994, when he became vice president of B.F. Goodrich Aerospace, Brecksville, Ohio, in addition to other positions within the aerospace and aviation industries. In 1982, Colonel Worden also ran for the United States House of Representatives in Florida's 12th Congressional District. Colonel Worden grew up on a small farm in Michigan and worked very hard to get into West Point because his parents could not afford to pay for college. He received his bachelor's degree in military science from the United States Military Academy at West Point New York, and his Master of Science degrees in Astronautical, Aeronautical Engineering, and Instrumentation Engineering from the University of Michigan. He received an Honorary Doctor of Science in Astronautical Engineering from the University of Michigan in 1971, and an Honorary Doctor of Literature from Northwood University. He received flight training at Moore Air Base in Texas, Laredo Air Force Base in Texas, and Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida. Worden was one of the 19 astronauts selected by NASA in April 1966. Throughout his illustrious career, Colonel Worden has received numerous awards and accolades and has been recognized worldwide for his outstanding leadership and commitment to the profession. For 2020, he will be featured in TIP, Top Industry Professionals magazine, and is also being considered to be inducted into IAOTP's Hall of Fame. He was chosen for the Lifetime Achievement Award in Aerospace by IAOTP, and he was honored at their annual awards gala at the Bellagio Hotel for this distinction. NASA honored Colonel Worden with the presentation of an Ambassador of Exploration Award, Moonrock, for his contributions to the U.S. space program. In 1997, he was inducted into the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame at Kennedy Space Center, and in 2016, he was inducted into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame at the San Diego Air and Space Museum. He received the NASA Distinguished Service Medal and served over 6 years as chairman of the board for the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation in Florida, during which time he helped raise over $6 million for scholarships for college students studying science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM courses. He currently has a scholarship program in cooperation with Kalman Worldwide, Inc., the Endeavor Scholarship, that selects foreign students that are between 15 and 18 years old and provides attendance for them at the Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. Aside from his successful career, Colonel Worden is a published poet, contributor, and LA Times best-selling author. He is the author of 3 books: Hello Earth, Greetings from Endeavor, I Want to Know About a Flight to the Moon, and more recently, his autobiography, Falling to Earth. He has 3 more books in the works: the sequel to Falling to Earth, a children's book, and a republished book of poetry. He was portrayed in the 1998 HBO miniseries From the Earth to the Moon by Michael Raynor and was a technical consultant to the movie First Man. He contributed the foreword to the space history book To a Distant Day by Chris Gaynor and wrote the foreword for the award-winning book 250,000 Steps by Dr. Anthony Pastian. Colonel Worden also did many shows with Mr. Rogers after his flight. Currently, he's now traveling extensively for Kalman Worldwide, a company that supplies the U.S. pavilion at major trade shows around the world. Looking back, Colonel Worden attributes his success to his life experiences, his perseverance, his education, and his endless passion for aerospace and education. His hobbies include bowling, water skiing, golf, racquetball, and spending time with his family. For the future, he hopes to inspire young people with his scholarship program and with his writings to be free, independent thinkers, and hopes to continue to make a difference any way that he can. For more information on Colonel Worden, please visit www.lwarden.com.